Hello and welcome to everyone. Haven't been having interviews for a long time, but this time we got a very special guest, Viacheslav Borshchev, coming fresh of a knockout victory, a knockout artist riding a score of 2-2 in the UFC, a decorated striker, one of the most entertaining fighters to watch. So thanks so much for joining, Vyacheslav. How's everything doing right now? How are you feeling after your great knockout stoppage victory?
Feel amazing, but extremely tired. I just told my wife I'm watching like scrolling Instagram, and I see how people training. There's no way I'm ready to go back to the gym. I'm like, no, I need a more rest. The last camp was like rough. It's funny because the last camp was amazing. No injuries, nothing. Like it was perfect. My wife helped me. Like I got a lot of help from teammates, but I was so tired. Like almost for last month, almost each single morning, I was almost crying and I was thinking about quit on sport. I don't want to go to the gym. I use in a restroom like 20 times before each training. Like no, like my whole body say no, don't go, take a rest. But thank God I I made it. Thank God.
But you made it. That is the most important part of the game. So
Yeah.
how were you preparing for that fight against like Makishat? You were training 2 times per day, and it was probably very hard. What was your strategy for the fight?
That's the thing. I was preparing for a long time, even before I got the notice for the fight, and I was preparing for everything. Like not Mashahate, like his real name, Maksat. Uh, I was preparing for everything for wrestlers and work on my wrestling shape so hard. Wrestle almost every day live. It was so cool. I got some guys from Russia, Chechen guys, and one guy from Kyrgyzstan. They helped me a lot. Like we wrestle like almost every day. It's so funny because they started. They like, hey, like we're not happy about your shape. Like it's not UFC level, not UFC level. They keep teasing me, and at the beginning, I already started asking them every day, "Hey, please, guys, let's go work with me. Let's go," because I felt result right after probably after first week hanging out with them. I felt result, and I first time ever I realized I felt what means being in wrestling shape. It's like it's so amazing. It's nothing even close to be the like what wrestling shape. It's I don't think it's you only have to wrestle to understand that. It's like it's not like when you run in marathon. It's not like when you because honestly, I don't want to say anything like disrespect, but I have run half marathon without any like special prepare. Like just 2 weeks I was laying down and decided, okay, let's go run. Like I went run and I did half marathon, a little bit more, like 26 kilometers. I mean, it's tough, no joke, especially when you're running fast, but it's possible. But I don't think you can lay down for a few weeks and jump in with wrestler and like can wrestle and feel amazing shape. No, I don't think it's possible. It's just different. And that was the main thing I was preparing. But when I get a notice to fight Maksat, this guy from China, uh, we watched the fight and we realized, oh, it's perfect matchup for me. But also, I knew he gonna try wrestle me because some people, probably because of my last two fights, they kind of understand it wrong. They thought my wrestling is sucks, but the problem is it's not only my wrestling is not that good. It's also the guys who I fought. They're really good wrestlers. Like they're pretty good grapplers, and my level of wrestling not that bad. Okay, of course I need to work a lot of stuff, but it's not that bad how it's some people think. It's and I think his mistake was he prepared for wrestling. That was his like biggest mistake because my level of wrestling, I believe I was able to wrestle him,
So
but also
technically, you were
yeah.
trying to participate in a different battle against Mahisat, right? You were trying to participate in a different battle. You were ready for an all-around war, not just a striking war, right?
Yes, I was ready for wrestling. Like I even thought if, for example, I thought okay in the first round. That's why I tried to keep the fight so clean. my goal was keep him missing, make him tired, changing level every time, low body head, low body head. And the second round, I was thinking about I might can wrestle too. But after I poke, I'm like, okay, motherfucker, sorry, I cannot finish you right now. He pissed me off really bad. But you see, it's make fight look better.
Well, everybody who tried to stand and bang it with you was smoked out. Like, remember your first UFC fight? Remember your Dana White Contender Series? Also, Dana White Contender Series, that guy was undefeated, Chris Duncan, the problem Duncan. I think he was undefeated, 6-0 or 7-0. It was like, it was a guy who has never been rocked in his whole life. And that knockout was pretty much one-punch knockout. I don't know. Do you remember that fight pretty much clean? How did that punch land?
Oh, of course, I remember this fight. I think if I close my fight, my eyes, I remember like almost each single step, each single second what happened in this fight. Yeah, that was like really interesting. That it's funny because I felt like this fight that was just like almost like kickboxing matchup for me. I know he tried wrestle too, but that was like I felt so easy on my feet. It's funny because I didn't even prepare for this fight. I was I was injured, mentally broken. That was short notice. That was very interesting. It's one of the just probably lucky shape because seriously, I didn't prepare for this fight. I was like out of camp, just like hanging out, kind of try to make some money, but then. Yeah, it's always interesting. But also, I think if we talk about the power, what I got in MMA, it's Joey Rodriguez fault. Because I don't think I ever hit that hard. Back in kickboxing time, like I was pretty technical. I always kept a very high pace, but I don't think I ever hit that hard. Since I started work with Joey, probably wrestling too, because I wrestle, build some new muscles. I realized, okay, now I can hit really bad. And if you watch my last knockouts, it's like it's all difference. One is left hook, other one is left body, and the last one is right hook. It's like not the same. Seems like now I kind of can knock you out from any position. I hope I'm gonna stay on the same thing.
But to be honest, for a kickboxer, you're pretty much, you're pretty much powerful inside the pocket, which is not normal for kickboxers.
Yeah, I think it's because of Joey. It's I never been like that. Since I started work with Joey, and look, we work already like since 2019. Probably finally start paying off.
Yeah, and about your UFC debut, what would you say? Like, you're coming into the UFC debut, you're fighting an LFA guy who is also like an okay name, fair name. But what was your game plan for your UFC debut? Dakota Bush, if I remember well.
Yeah, the same thing. We were just preparing for wrestling. The main goal was just staying on the feet. And it's funny because my MMA debut and the last fight kind of pretty similar if we're talking about my shape, because it's 2 times when I was in my best shape I ever had in my life, like 2 times, before my debut and the last fight. And before debut, I got a few cuts while training, and I lift a lot. I also was super strong before MMA debut. Like, I don't know, like, I don't think I ever been this strong, even before my last fight. Just like physically strong, because I work with Darren, our strength and condition coach, like probably at least 3 times in a week. And I felt super, like, just physically very strong right before debut. That's why when, if you remember when he was on my back, like I started shaking it and like, oh shit, I haven't even felt his weight on my body. I was so strong, like oh, that's cool. And before the fight, it's also interesting. Before my last fight, I was 174, but before my debut, I was 179. the fight day.
179, and you fought at your weight class.
Yeah, I have no idea like how it's happened. In the fight day, it was 179. Maybe a lot of water. I don't know, but that was interesting.
But it's like how many pounds up? 20, 25. It's a lot. It's a lot pounds up.
Yeah, and before my last fight, I was 174.
174. So technically, a guy who weighs 180 can cut to 155. I mean, with hard efforts, but can.
I'm not sure even. It's not probably a big deal when you walk around 180. It's not that hard. It's probably depends from your body type, but I know a lot of 155ers much bigger than 180. I walk around 180, 178, 180, and I'm pretty small for 155.
Yeah, I've seen there are many bigger guys. For example, Mark Diakis, a guy who fought you, like he looked way bigger than you, and it was to me a bit of a surprise. When you two stood next to each other, he looked way bigger. I don't know how that guy cuts.
Honestly, I felt like the biggest guy I fought was Chris Duncan. Like this guy was like a fucking bear. when he held me, like that was like he just wasn't that technical as a wrestler. But if you talk about strength, like I felt like he's a real bear. Like that was interesting. Yeah, DKC, like he's strong, very strong, but I haven't felt like he's that big. But Chris Duncan was really big.
How did you get
He
your
probably
nick-
cut a lot.
How did you get your nickname? Why is Slava Claus?
It's Uriah's idea. I don't know. I believe he just made it up in his head, maybe because Slava and Santa sounds for him kind of similar. But he told me like, I think in interview he said because he always brings some cheers, some gift. Actually, it's it's one of the Slavic and Russian tradition. When I met the person, and every time he invited me to his house, I used to bring something to him. It's just our tradition, like you can't go with empty hands. But for Americans, it's pretty rare. And he like kind of was confused, probably. But and he said it in interview. That's why. But I don't think it's real. I think for him it's just because it sounds similar. But also he was joking. He said, "Look, the Santa Claus, the most familiar name in the world after Jesus. It's like I'm a god of marketing."
So your nickname was an idea to promote you, to push you to the next level, to have something to build hype around, or
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
well, which was the hardest fight, the hardest MMA fight you've ever participated at?
MMA? I don't know. Probably DKC. Yeah, probably DKC. Yeah, like I believe sometimes in the middle of the second round, I was thinking, fuck, I just want to go home. It's like, it's so stupid. I felt so stupid. Like just because I keep doing something and nothing works. So I was so annoying. Like, I said, like, for example, the last fight, which I lost against Davis, I felt like if they give me more time, that was just a matter of time when he get tired and I get up and fuck him up. If it was a street fight. But with DKC, I haven't felt that way. With DKC, I just, oh my gosh, fuck off, please. Like, come on, that's too much. Like he just keep howling me. That was annoying. Like that was I think he took a little piece of my soul this day. I was so disappointed. Like, that's probably the roughest loss I ever had. I didn't get any punch, no injuries, nothing. Just like the guy just holding you. It's like it's so stupid. It's like the worst feeling ever. Like like someone tried raping you. I don't know. It's like super stupid.
Yeah, it's always hard when you're fighting a control fighter, and especially like when somebody is constantly trying to shoot him when he's a good chain wrestler. Like Mark is very, very skillful chain wrestler, and that's something people don't understand.
Yeah, the thing is like at the beginning when he just started, he was breathing so heavy, and I thought, okay, I just have to keep going, and he gonna be tired. But in a second, I tired, but he just kept going, and his breathing even getting better and better. And he started talking shit, like talk with his corner. I'm like, fuck, man, like just let me go, please. That was so like no, that was worst feeling ever. Nothing worse. I think even like I got some very big and terrible losses in kickboxing when the guys like really beat me up really bad. Like Alim Nabiev, the second fight, like was really bad, but nothing was even close to this. Just because you feel okay, everything okay, you control everything, like nothing like really, like you're not about to pass out, but you can't do nothing. It's kind of like when you're stuck in a, I don't know, in a cave or wherever, and you can't move. It's this feeling.
Well, when you transitioned from kickboxing, how much time was required to get used to a new set of rules?
I'm not sure if I still used to it. It's very hard. I mean, MMA, it's like it's no jokes. It's probably one of the hardest, maybe hardest martial arts. Just it's like it's so much work. You know, where you fixing your wrestling. If you over focus on your wrestling, you go against high level jiu-jitsu guy, and your jiu-jitsu is not good enough, he can submit to you. Like if you over focus on your jiu-jitsu and you got like high level grappler like wrestler who knows some jiu-jitsu defense, like he just can like control you forever, and you can't finish him. You won't do anything. And if you over focus on your striking, you get a problem with both wrestlers and jiu-jitsu guys. It's cool what every fight starts on the feet. It's giving you a little opportunity, like to punch, kick, but still, because the people it's not that hard to learn how to get away from punches and kicks. Like especially with MMA rules, you know, like people can go very low. Some jiu-jitsu guys can sit on the butt and like kind of, you know what I mean, like move this way very low, and you can't really knee. You have to punch, and every time you punch, you're too close. It's like it's very hard.
Yeah, absolutely. MMA is one of the hardest martial arts to master, and we've seen that in many cases that, for example, a BJJ guy can get the advantage over a striker, but when a striker knows to keep the fight standing, that changes the whole situation. Right now, you are pretty much, very much well-rounded, I assume, but how would you describe your fighting style? What would you say?
I believe I'm still like striker 100%, but I'm getting close to be MMA guy, getting closer to it. Just think is it's also, you know, that was very nice point from the journalist at UFC Apex. He told me like how you feel about like uh, instead of like everybody like learning step by step, you have to learn your wrestling straight from the highest level, like because my MMA debut was in 2019. In 2021, I was in UFC, and like that's kind of tough. I have to learn right away from the highest level. My second fight already was against the Casey. It's pretty tough. Like yeah, and Davis. It's like no jokes. Mike Davis. He's like really good fighter too. Like he has a crazy experience. He fought like Yusuf. He fought Burns. It's like it's no jokes. And of course, like if I want to compete this animals, I have to work more and more on my wrestling, on my other skills to be a full MMA fighter. I feel like I'm a full MMA fighter, but for UFC level, I still striker. I need to work more.
But your TDD has significantly improved since your last fight. We've seen that. It's pretty much visible with your stance, with the position of your feet, with the position of your body, head. Like, I'll be honest, my coach is a former wrestler, so he knows to recognize such things. And you're not holding, from what I'm seeing, this is just my point of view. You're not holding like double pillar anymore. Your guard is pretty much lower, which is very much more suitable from MMA, at least from what I can see. And you modified your guards and your stance starting from your first fight, because I'm following you still like even when you fought Chris Duncan. I was watching the fight. It was, for me, it was a totally different person than the guy who fought the Chinese fighter.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, also I work a lot with Danny Castillo, Lasco. He's work on my basic a lot. If we talk about the ground game, jiu-jitsu, I work with Uriah, and with Uriah, we're already like doing stuff for last 5 years, I believe, and that's what Uriah not really worry about my jiu-jitsu. I still worry, but he believes like my defense on a like good level, like, good enough level to get away from the problems.
Yeah, that's amazing. Fight of the night. How do you feel? Bonuses.
That was performance of the night. Yeah, right. Yeah, that was
Performance.
yeah. That it was something like everything. It's funny. Like same like on my debut and my last fight, like everything how I was imagining, like each single step happened even more because this knockout is funny. Since I watched this guy, I was thinking about this right hook. Like I'm not sure it's a thing. I don't know how to say it in English. We say vrazrez in Russian language. Vrazrez means like little angle. It's not just hook. It's like little angle hook.
Big
Yes,
overhand.
yeah. Yes. Yeah. Like something between swing and and this hook. And I was thinking about this like since I like watched this guy first fight. Like okay, like it seems like because he always thrown the cross every time he throw this cross and like okay it's perfect because it was very easy to force him to throw this cross like and when I make like him busy on a body on the second level I throw hook and it seems like it was just a matter of time when he tried to counter you by cross and he actually did a few times. He even landed a few times, yes, especially when I was close. Yeah, he still landed but later finally I found the perfect timing, and that's how I land this hook. And that's why I felt so amazing. I knew it's gonna be bonus. And the funny, they right after fight, usually they bring you to the doctor and interview. But right after doctor, we went somewhere like where the fuck are we going? Like there was some garage, and later we go. Oh, sure, we were in a. We went to the office, Dana office, and we have a meeting with Dana White. I'm like, oh shit. And instead of interview, we talked with Dana. He said some good words. He told me there's going to be bonus for sure. And I went to the hospital to make sure my eye is okay.
Oh, is your eye okay now, or you still need to recover?
No, not like for last 3 days. It's already good. Even 3 days ago, I still, if I look up, everything was a little kind of like doubled. And if I looked right, it was kind of not okay. But now it's good. Now 100%.
So you recovered, but you need some more time, and I hope we are going to see you fighting again, really. Like, two definitely performance of the night, definitely deserve more great fights. And my fans are actually telling that you're one of the most entertaining names to watch. Like for example, when I air, like when they see Belal fighting, they're like, "Oh no, I can't stand like it's a 5-rounder." But they're like, when Borshchev fights, it's a KO or holding on the ground. There is no other option.
Yeah, I'll try to make only one option for you guys. It's only knockout. No more. I hope I gonna work really hard to not make people hold me on the floor anymore. Ain't no grave can hold my body down.
Yeah, I understand. How's one typical day in your life looking like? Can you please describe it?
I mean, if it's not training or
Yeah.
usually, like, yeah, if it's like while I'm training, it's just like I waking up and go to the gym training, and sometimes I picking up my daughter from school, but most of the time my wife does it. But to like now, well, the rest I'm just hanging out with kids and my family nonstop. We have a membership in the zoo, some like parks. We just like I'm family guy most of the time. Like, but also I have one friend. He keep asking me like probably for last year, like, oh, let's do camping, and finally I did like a couple days ago. We went to Shasta Mountain, like near the Shasta Mountain. That was a beautiful place. We stayed for the night. It was kind of tough. We were thinking about swimming in the lake, but there was ice and snow everywhere. Yes, and we changed our plans. But yeah, I mean that's most thing I do. I either with kids, either hiking, nothing else.
Well, at least now you can hike. Now you don't have a training camp. At least you have some time to hang around with the kids.
Exactly.
Yeah. Would you like to add something to the interview? Anything we missed? Would you like to give a shout out to somebody, to mention something?
Oh, I'm thinking of my next fight. I will try to find opportunity to fight either in Europe or Abu Dhabi. Maybe Abu Dhabi would be really cool. And any people from Europe, yeah, like I would like to invite you to watch the fight because it's much easier than go to USA. That's probably one thing I would like to invite. That's my goal. I'm looking for the fight somewhere closer to Europe.
Yeah, you could bring more fans. Definitely more fans would come, like traveling to UFC Apex, it's on the whole other end of the world. But traveling to Europe or traveling to Abu Dhabi is, I assume it's gonna cost less money, I assume. Or a fight night. Like UFC visits England pretty much often.
Yeah. I don't know because the thing is, I got approval for the green card, but I still have Russian passport. I don't know how does it work. Like it's probably still not that easy to get the visa. Yes, we'll see. But at least now I can travel.
But yeah, with the green card it should be easier, yeah. But at least you got many options to fight, so that's gonna be awesome. Like there are tons of the American cards.
Yeah, hope so.
Thanks a lot for this interview. I will put it to creation now, and we hope for another high-level knockout coming up. Depends on who you're fighting, but my fans are always like, when Borshchev fights, we see a high-level performance. That's it.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. We'll send you, when it's done, I will send you the interview. Okay, gonna premiere tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.